In the heart of a buzzing African city stood Cedar Light Sanctuary, famous across the continent for miracles, fiery prophecies, and its widely celebrated leader, Pastor Daniel Madu. To the world, he was a spiritual giant. To his followers, he was the closest thing to perfection. But one quiet evening, a truth began to unfold. Evelyn, a humble usher, had returned to the auditorium to retrieve a forgotten Bible. The lights were off, the air chilly. Then she heard it, muffled voices inside the prayer room. She moved closer, carefully, and what she saw stopped her breath. Pastor Daniel stood over a crying female member, not praying, but forcefully delivering her, money envelopes scattered on the ground like fallen leaves. The pastor barked, "Pastor Daniel, this is part of your deliverance. Obey your prophet." Evelyn gasped. Pastor Daniel turned sharply. Their eyes met. And then he smiled. A cold, dangerous smile. A smile that said, "I saw you, and I will deal with you." The next day, Evelyn was summoned to the office. Pastor Daniel sat back in his leather chair, fingers steepled, eyes calm, too calm. "Pastor Daniel, what you saw yesterday is not what you think." He slid a thick brown envelope across the desk. "Pastor Daniel, take this. Call it appreciation. Silence is also a ministry." Evelyn stepped back, trembling. She refused the money. From that moment, her life became a storm. Anonymous messages threatened her. "Leave the church. You want to fight the anointed? We will finish you." Her offering bag was mysteriously short one Sunday, and she was blamed. The church she loved became the place she feared most. There arose a secret committee unknown to Evelyn. She was not the only one who had seen the cracks behind the altar. A secret group of elders had been watching Pastor Daniel for months. Strange withdrawals from church funds, night visits with unfamiliar spiritual partners, testimonies staged for dramatic effect, members humiliated for asking questions. The elders formed a secret committee, but one thing was missing, evidence, and then God placed Evelyn in their path. Her courage was the final piece of the puzzle. Friday night, midnight, the entire church building felt like it was holding its breath. Evelyn and 3 elders slipped quietly into the prayer room and hid a tiny recorder inside a flower vase. Hours later, Pastor Daniel entered with one of his loyal associates. Pastor Daniel, whispering harshly, "For Sunday service, make sure the man in the wheelchair is ready. When I touch him, he will stand up. It must go viral this time." The associate nodded obediently. Pastor Daniel continued, "Pastor Daniel, that girl I disciplined, if she speaks, destroy her reputation. God hates rebels." Every word was recorded. Sunday morning, the sanctuary overflowed with worshipers. Cameras rolled. The choir thundered. All eyes awaited Pastor Daniel's sermon. He walked to the altar with confidence. But before he spoke, Elder Matthew stepped forward with a microphone. "Elder Matthew, before we proceed, the church must hear something." He pressed play. Pastor Daniel's own voice filled the sanctuary. The staged miracles, the instructions to destroy reputations, everything. Shockwaves tore through the crowd. People screamed. Some cried, some fainted. The man hired to fake the wheelchair miracle stood up in shame and confessed. The woman Pastor Daniel had abused rose trembling and confirmed everything. Pastor Daniel shouted, "This is the devil's attack. They want to destroy the anointed." But no one was listening anymore. The truth had spoken. Security escorted Pastor Daniel out of the church that same day. Some members wept, some clapped, others stood speechless. Evelyn became a symbol, proof that one quiet voice can shake an empire built on lies. The church leadership restructured everything, new accountability, new transparency, new policies, new courage. As for Pastor Daniel, rumor says he started another ministry far away. But this time, people were watching him closely, very closely. Pastor Daniel was removed from office permanently. A thorough audit was done. Funds were recovered. Victims received counseling. The church apologized publicly. Evelyn became known as the girl who refused to be silent. But that wasn't the most shocking part. 2 months later, rumors spread that Pastor Daniel had opened another ministry in a different town with a new name, new members, and the same old tactics. Only this time, people were watching, and Evelyn, she stood at the altar one Sunday, now a youth leader, declaring, "When truth speaks, shadows flee. When courage rises, wickedness falls. And when God fights, no darkness can survive." Her voice echoed through the church, the same church where a shadow once lived. But now, light had taken over.
If you enjoyed this story, like, share, and subscribe for more dramatic African storytelling. Thank you.